Meet D. Watkins, Kondwani Fidel, and Devin Allen, Charm City's change makers. D. Watkins is a New York Times bestselling author and editor-at-large at Salon.com. For his next move, he's teaming up with other Baltimore legends. David Simon of The Wire for a new TV show, and NBA All-Star Carmelo Anthony on his memoir. Kondwani Fidel has captured the eyes and ears of the nation with spoken word poetry inspired by his beloved city.
Love is not a five-star stay. Love is not an all-expenses paid vacay.
A published author, he had the honor of writing and performing an original piece for the Baltimore Orioles season opener. Devin Allen's powerful images of protest in his hometown landed him not one, but two Time magazine covers. Now these local legends are giving back to the city they love, inspiring the next generation to continue their legacy and to have the courage to create their own. I've been so excited to meet all three of you.
Welcome to our city.
Welcome to Baltimore. I am so thrilled to be here, and I feel like the three of you are ambassadors for Baltimore. D, New York Times best-selling author. I would say you're the man, but you're with the men. Yeah. You're smiling as soon as I say Baltimore.
I love it. I love it in a way that's almost dangerous. I take pride in my city so much, and I'm just happy to be here and to be an artist at this time and to get to work with some of the most talented people I've ever met. And I've been all over the world twice, and home calls me back.
Devin, you get all of these photographs, and I have some of your work here beside me. You capture what you all talk about. This is Baltimore.
Yeah. The thing is, growing up in Baltimore, it's a very small city. It's like family, because everybody knows everybody. There's a certain type of sense of camaraderie and family bonding that happens in Baltimore. So there's one big family, despite all the negative things that people see, that the issues that we have to deal with. But, it's a beauty to the struggle, and I think I try to show that in my work.
I ask myself sometimes, why me? This girl from Luling, Texas, when I have so many friends are still there. Why me? Why you?
Why me? I ask myself that question a lot. I would say that, I just utilize language. First of all, it's like a therapy session for me, because when I write certain things down and I analyze it and I interrogate it, I learn stuff about myself. Why did you feel like that on April 3rd when you wrote that? You know what I'm saying? Or where did you learn this word from? Or is this how you really feel? So it's a time for me to just be with myself. And then, I just use that language and share with other people with the hopes of them learning more about me, learning more about Baltimore, learning more about the struggles that I had to face growing up and how and why certain troubled realities were created.
Going back to what Dee said, I feel like Baltimore, they're not trying to defend Baltimore. You're saying this is Baltimore.
I've read this somewhere, but the best critique is creation. I'm not gonna talk about, the things that hurt me. I'm not gonna talk about all of the things that are not right or frustrated. I'm going to create that content and that material, and then I'm going to work extra hard to get that material to the people who need it the most, because we need to see ourselves in literature and in power and thinking, and it's work for me.
It's work for all three of you.
Why me? Why him? Why him? Why you? This is God's plan.
Dee, I got to ask you about your HBO drama, We Own This City. What's at the heart of it?
So I was in my classroom at the University of Baltimore where I teach, and I got like 2 phone calls from David Simon, and I'm like, David Simon doesn't call me.
David Simon of The Wire fame,
yeah.
Of course.
So I was like, wait a second. And he said, we're putting together a writer's room for a show. I know you covered the topic, and we want to see how you fit into the room. And the topic is about the Gun Trace Task Force, a group of rogue police officers that robbed citizens, did historic overtime fraud, and I got a chance to write an episode. And I'm really excited. It's an HBO miniseries. It was like college for me. I learned so much from David, George, Ed, and Nina, and I'm just so fortunate.
Do you get tired of the gritty dramas based in Baltimore, or is that just the reality of the city? It has these beautiful corners, and it also has dark spaces that need to be exposed.
I don't get tired of it, because at the end of the day, when we see a news story, young man caught up in whatever type of crime, a lot of times so many people just judge. when at the end of the day, we don't really acknowledge the systems that put that young person in that position. There's a collection of things that force people to make those types of decisions. And I think when we talk about policing, when we talk about schools, when we talk about poor housing, when we talk about food deserts, when we talk about just the lack of exposure or the opportunity to be able to dream outside of your circumstance, then we can have a real conversation on why crime happens.
Right.
But we can't do that unless we're creating art.
Part of fixing the systemic problems is talking about education. You work so hard to teach kids photography in schools, but you go in and you break down that wall to introduce kids to what you do and what's made you so great. What does that give back to your soul?
It's not even about me. You know, when I first picked up the camera, it literally saved my life. Both my best friends were murdered back in 2013, and I wasn't with them because I was so into my camera. Well, I was in the streets for a while. You know, I had a daughter at 19, and I just wanted to be something grand. I just didn't know what my purpose was yet, and I just wanted to be the man that she could look up to. I started just shooting everyday life. I would shoot local rappers. My homeboy shooting dice games on the corner. I would just be chilling around my way, taking pictures. I didn't find photography until I was 24, but to be able to, you know, be on the Time cover 2 times and, you know, have my work in the Smithsonian and all these places, I taught myself from YouTube and reading Gordon Parks's books. I wanted to give that back. So, you know, I just made a GoFundMe, and I just felt like, you know, photography is therapeutic for me, and it allowed me to digest the world.
Do you get a better satisfaction out of photographing these real images?
I want to prove that you can live in Baltimore and make it in Baltimore.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I didn't leave.
You know, there's a big poetry moment, and it is fueled by you. How do you describe the poetry scene here?
I would say that the poetry scene here it's honest. Like, when I first started writing, the people that I looked up to, like the Jay-Z's, Langston Hughes, Maya Angelou, Nikki Giovanni, Tupac, all they did was be honest in their work, right? So I'm speaking about issues with both of my parents, you know, dealing with incarceration and them dealing with drug abuse like my entire life. You know what I'm saying? I speak about what life was like for me growing up in Baltimore. I'm just being honest. Yeah. And then next thing you know, I just looked up, and there was teachers, professors throughout the country, outside of the country, saying, hey, we are teaching our students about these big issues using your work. It was just mind-blowing to me because I never wanted to get into academia. It never was a dream of mine to get in front of students and share my work.
Which brings me to, because it's so raw and so honest, but at the same time, you've been embraced by mainstream. Super Bowl.
Definitely. I don't know. I try to not question it as much because, like we said before, and that's just me just telling the truth, me just being passionate about my work. You know what I'm saying? I just throw it out there, and to hear people and say, hey, we rock with you so much that we want to put you on television, or we rock with you so much that we want to put you in front of our middle school students and our high school students and my college students, you know what I mean? So that's the best part for me, that I can literally just be myself every day I wake up, and I can build a platform, I can be a representation for my 7 younger siblings. I can, you know, make my grandmother proud, make my friends proud, so that's the best part for me.
You made all 3 of you make Baltimore proud. I just appreciate you so much. And by the way, I know you have a connection with the Orioles. I'm throwing out the pitch.
Yeah,
you had the honor of doing your work there, right?
Yeah, yep. So I wrote the poem, we recorded it, and I think that they play it every home game.
Yeah, they do.
So,
well, I will not make as great of an impression as your work with the Orioles, but I will do my best to represent all 3 of you.